Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome. We're going to get right into the live stream. I usually just give a minute or two to let a few folks pile in, and then we'll get started. So what we're going to do on this live stream, and what I do on pretty much all my live streams, is I'm here to go through individual charts that each one of my subscribers want me to look at. And so we're going to dig into that. And then we'll look at the general markets, and I'll just answer any kind of general questions that people have. Again, I don't know all the answers, so I base a lot of my trading off of a certain kind of thesis of what I'm seeing. But the charts, we just follow the charts. So I'm looking for some downside. Of course, there's, I have technical reasons. There's fundamental reasons as well, but the charts technically are showing me that. So I'm looking for that, and, I'm looking for trades that align, kind of correlated trades basically is usually how you want to set it up. If you have a general trend or a general thesis, you want to look for trades that align with that. So I'm kind of looking for that. But then we also are going to go through the general markets and everything on the channel. So if you guys have a stock pick that you want me to look at, let's try to keep our picks to one or two. There's a lot of people that pile in, and I can't go through 100 different stocks. I'll try to do my best to go through everyone's, but I want to give everyone an opportunity to ask me to analyze a chart. The other thing that I want you to understand is, in these live sessions, I'm giving you a technical, it's kind of a snapshot. I'm giving you a technical snapshot of a chart. So if you guys have a stock you want me to look at, I pull it up, I run, kind of a basic analysis on it. It's a very brief and, a brief snapshot at this moment in time of what the chart looks like, and then my general read on it. That could change next week. So if you have a chart that you're looking at, and I've drawn out support and resistance lines and all that, then that's fine. But next week, that could change. So it's important to understand how to read the chart and understand what each and every day tells you on a chart. Each day gives you a new data point. Some days there's no change. Some days there's there's actual technical change that we want to pay attention to. So, and if you guys are unfamiliar on how to do that, check out my course. That's what I put that together for. How's the audio sound? Before I get started, just a quick audio check. I did find a little adjustment in my screen mirroring program that looks like I had two mics on. Someone mentioned that in the last live stream that I had two mics on and we were getting an echo. So I did find that. I think I fixed it. Let me know how that sounds. I got my coffee ready, and I'm going to get into it once you guys give me that thumbs up. No, hey Harry, I'm not long Facebook anymore. I don't have any tech longs. I'm just short. The last week, I forget exactly what day, but I talked about how I was reshorting the market. I think it was when we popped up at that 200 simple moving average in the triple Qs. I don't have any longs. I took all my shorts, pretty much a lot of the shorts that I had recently been short, and I covered those shorts back before I went on vacation. March, right around March 17th, I closed them. I think it was like March 15th. And then I took a long on Facebook. I went long on Facebook the day before I went on vacation. So that was March 16th. And then it wasn't a huge long because I was going on vacation, so I wasn't going to be able to manage it. But I did take that long. It looked good. And then when I got back from vacation, watched it a little bit longer, and then I closed it out. And I retook up a lot of my shorts that I had closed out before I went on vacation. I took those back in. So I went short again when the triple Qs hit that 200-day simple moving average. All right, cool. We got the good audio. Let's get into it. I'm going to start off. With let's go with the broad market analysis real quick, just to give you guys a kind of a wrap up of how we ended. Again, I'm sure triple Qs looks like they tried to do this little rally thing, but I had a pretty profitable day on Friday. Just even the shorts were working, and the gold miners those did well too. So I think that's probably what the big gainers were. But gold miners, again, for me, it's pretty simple right now. I'm looking to short the growthy names, and I'm looking to go long the gold miners. And I've got several different miners that I'm long. So it's kind of a very simple trade. And then in between that, we look for individual trades, but looking to short the growth names. And for the most part, I'm looking to short the names, kind of the generals, the strong names, the names that haven't really had big pullbacks, or the names that everybody wants to pile into, like Apple, NVIDIA, things like that. Those are the ones I'm looking to short because they haven't really sold down too much. So that's the area where I think we'll get the selling. The names like Peloton and some of those really weak names that have already come down 50, 60, some are down 80%. I'm not interested in shorting those things as much. They've already had big moves to the downside. So triple Qs on the hourly chart, I've got this little downward price channel that I've noticed that we're kind of trading down into. I was thinking that on Friday we would rally up and maybe hit the top of the channel, and I was watching for it on the 5-minute chart. I don't usually show the 5-minute, but you can see right here. I was thinking, oh, okay, I see what they're going to do. They might rally it, right there. So look for that on Monday, maybe. If we gap up, and we're probably going to gap up to right about there, which is about 363.50. And that's probably a good opportunity to short, in my opinion, right there. The other thing is, this is just the 5-minute, so this is usually only good for a short move, but you do have some divergence, bullish divergence there, and it's there on the PPO as well. All right, so I saw that, and I was like, okay, they're probably going to do a little rally up into this line here. So maybe we gap up and then sell down from there. And that's just maybe. And again, it's just 5 minutes. So if you haven't taken a position, you do what you want. I'm short already, so I'm not really looking to, change my position. On the daily, we hit that 200. Let me zoom in. There's the 200 simple moving average right here. It was at 368.73. We had the 1-day pop above it. This is when I was getting all the comments. I was getting lots of comments about, how'd that short work out for you and things like that when we were right up here, because we closed above the 200. And I said, look, it could go higher, but if you want to use just actual logic and data, the last time we popped above the 200 was right here, and that was followed by selling. So if you shorted there, you did very well. So far, if you shorted here, you've done well. I mean, we haven't had huge profits, but, we've definitely had selling, which makes sense. You're going to hit that 200 and sell. The one thing I'm watching for, which is a possibility, is a potential bull flag. All right, so I see it. It's here, potentially. So we got to keep an eye on that. But this is your rally that we've started back in like March 17th time frame. Rally, we could be flagging out, and there could be another rally higher. So I don't know if it's going to do that, but if it does, we're very likely going to make all-time new highs. And so that would be, you just measure out the flagpole, and then you got the flag depending on where that flag goes to, and that puts us way up here, at all-time new highs. I don't think we're going to get that, but, we could. So to watch the fangs in order to help you understand if we're going to get that or not. And then on the SPY, excuse me. And one of the reasons why I don't think we're going to get that would be that would be a very technically significant move. If you look at the SPY on the weekly chart, we've got big resistance at this red trend line that it's been a very pivotal trend line for over a decade, but on the weekly you can see all the tags of support. We broke support, ran right up into it. This is right before COVID, and this is where I was like, okay, guys, I thought that was the top of the market because we had broken the major bull trend, back tested right into major resistance, and I thought, okay, this is likely the top of the market. Obviously, I was wrong on that call, but at least in the short term, I wasn't wrong, and I shorted the market thinking it was the top, and then we caught the COVID crash. So that was still years worth of gains. That went all the way back to 2016 or so. Years worth of gains that we captured in profits shorting within like 6 weeks. So still very profitable. And then the Fed rallied it back up above the support line. So once we were above, you can see each weekly candle was holding that. This is where the buyers were watching that trend line. But we broke big sell signal right here on the weekly. Back test 1, back test 2. So if that bull flag plays out, like I just pointed out in triple Qs, it's likely going to play out in the SPY, and it would basically give us something like, it would put us way back up in this area, all the way up here, back into the trend line. I just don't see that happening. The Fed's not there to pop this thing back above. So I'd put a higher probability that we're going lower than this being a bull flag. Okay? Doesn't mean it can't be a bull flag, but the probability says it's not. Guys, am I echoing? Some people told me my audio was good. And I hear some saying I'm echoing. I shouldn't have an echo. You guys let me know. All right. And IWM. This is another one. This is probably the cleanest chart to me. Just the big sideways range here. Look, they gave you some hope last week basically. We broke down. We back tested that resistance. Back tested it again. And then on the 29th, kind of this breakout move, like made it look like, oh, okay, we're breaking back above this resistance and everything's great, but the volume wasn't there. I pointed that out. Again, you want to look at volume. There's the volume, and I was like, that's not breakout volume. Especially above such a major level. You would expect if you're breaking above a major level that, institutions are going to see it, shorts are going to, exit. There's going to be lots of movement in stock, so you're going to have big volume, and we didn't have that volume, so that told me that it had a high likelihood of failing. And then also on the hourly, it came with negative divergence on the hourly, so wasn't a believable breakout to me, at least for what I look at. And that was your breakout, and I said, all right, this is not likely going to be a breakout, and sure enough, failed back below resistance. So that's it. We're back below resistance, and that's major resistance. So this is an objective area, 209-ish to short, and looking for a lot lower, prices. I'm looking for this thing to head all the way down to 170-ish, right down in here. All right, so that's another move. That's a move of about another 18% from where we're at right now. And at the all-time highs, that would put us down about 30%. So clearly in a bear market if we get down there. But again, by the time everything's clear, that's not the time you're going to make all your money. So you got to, you want to take it on these counter trend rallies when everybody feels great, and everybody's starting to get bullish again. That's what these bear market rallies do. I don't know if it's a bear market rally. I think it is. All right, I'm going to get into these charts now, and we're just going to go right through these. SBSW. All right, looking at the daily chart, this, there's your COVID drop. Something like this here. Okay. All right, there. Again, the COVID drop on most charts, you're going to want to just X out at least the kind of impulsive part of it. That was forced liquidation. It's almost like an outlier. So you just X that out because the market went into more of a more of a trending pattern. So you just kind of throw that out and use the other data points. Some charts you can use it, but clearly this one I've got the lows, there's a reaction, there's a reaction, and there's a reaction. Okay, and then on the top, this looks like here, right in here. Let me tighten that up right there-ish. It was about right there. Excuse me. So this was your downtrend. This looks like gold. What is this one? Precious metal, some sort of a precious metal. And resistance, resistance, resistance right there. Okay. Bullish divergence right there starting to build on the RSI. Let me move this stupid thing. And then you also had, there's your bullish divergence on the PPO right there. So this was a divergent low right in here. And that was your buy signal right there. Or if the trend lines maybe off slightly, that gap up, either one of those would have come as a buy signal. And yeah, looks bullish to me. Breakout, come down, test the 200, hold. You do have the major trend line here, but that doesn't mean we're going to head down to it. We might hold this 200, run up like this, and then hit this trend line maybe in the near future, or So I would stay bullish on this one if I was long. I'm not long this one, but I'm definitely long some other gold miners. I don't know if these guys mine gold, but they're precious metals. TLT, obviously we've got an inverted yield curve. We've started that a couple weeks ago with different the 5 and the 30, the 5-year and the 30-year, I think, and now we've got the 2 and 10. So the yield curve is inverting, and the more the Fed hikes interest rates, the likelihood the more it will invert. So we're just getting clear signs that a recession is coming, but we don't know when. The yield curve inversion, tells us a recession is coming in the future, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be another big impulsive rally in the market before the recession comes. So we can't just bank on it, in terms of taking positions, but it definitely helps the larger theme that stocks are likely going lower into a bear market in the future. We just don't know when. So we have to use the charts to give us the guide on taking positions. TLT, I've got a trend line here, support, and then we just had another reaction right there. So there's the trend line. Looking at the, you've got some bullish divergence showing up. Oh, sorry, right there and there. So that was a divergent low. And basically, it made sense to take a long right there at about 127-ish, if you could get it right when it tagged that. What I would watch if someone's long on this, which is not my favorite, just because it doesn't move that much. I'd rather just take other positions, but not the best trend line, to be honest. Let me see if I can grab it from the very highs. I can't really put together a great trend line up here, so I wouldn't really mark that out. But yeah, I've got some resistance right there, 134.58. So you're probably gonna rally up into that. Maybe get a reaction there. Okay, so that's TLT. We'll go with Wells Fargo. All right, Wells Fargo clearly got something going on right here. All right. Support all through here. There's more. That's kind of one right there. There's another one. Little false breakdown, bear trap. That happens. Rallied, and now we're kind of just right there, right at support. So it's not a sell signal. It's not. We're below it, but it's just not close enough. We could rally next week. I would just wait for an impulsive breakdown. If it gaps down, let's say we gap down, and it can, gaps down and can hold that gap, that would be your next sell signal. That would be a nice solid sell signal. Otherwise, we could hold and just kind of rally here. So you got to figure out, it needs to show us which way it's going to go. It should break. If it doesn't break right here, maybe get a minor bounce, then it'll break, but it should break. And the reason why I say that is this negative divergence on the RSI and the PPO. So this was a divergent high here, came down. All right, so I think it's going to break. Maybe it'll come with a gap down. If you see that, that's probably your sell signal. And then you've got some support right here at about 41.64. And then looks like we got some support down here, 34.08. So either one of those would be targets for profit targets. All right, moving on. And I'm just going down the list, guys. GM. Yeah, it looks like it's going lower on GM. So here's your former highs. We kind of broke above, held that, it was resistance. Then we had a nice breakout, relatively impulsive, big volume right there on that breakout. Held support, but now we're below and it's resistance. All right, so I would just treat that as resistance, that we're in a downtrend. All right, who knows how far down it's going, but looks like it's going lower to me. A little bit of support right here. We'll just mark that out. Right there. All right, so we're in the middle of this kind of zone, but support, near-term support, about $40. Resistance, 46.85. Right in the middle. So if, I would want to be short on this if I was anything. But I wouldn't short it here. I'd want to short it up here at resistance or short it on a break of this support. All right. So that's what I would look for. And yeah, look for lower prices. Maybe down here. Right about there is, let me tighten that up just right there. That looks like a decent support, 33.70. All right, moving on. VBIO. This one doesn't have enough history, but I think I talked about this. Look, you got a bull flag going on. So, bullish falling wedge. All right, I must have covered this last week. Bullish divergence, bullish falling wedge, nothing's changed, all right? From last week, you got a bull flag. So what I would do is mark the flag, which is about right here. There's your flagpole. And then just go to the hourly chart to fine tune this, but you just mark it out like that. And then drag your flag, drag it like that to something like that, and that would be my target. I wouldn't really go much beyond that. This is a high risk kind of speculative thing, but you also obviously have this humongous gap. So yeah, you could run up and fill the gap, but the measured target on this little flag move is about 14.18. I wouldn't wait for the very penny to get out. But yeah, that's what I have on that. So moving on. AMD. That one had a big sell down. All right, so AMD to me looks like it's starting a bear market. This is the bull trend at AMD. It started back in 2016. Look at all the tags. It's a nice defined trend line, all right, on the daily chart. All these tags. Now, we broke it briefly, and they popped it back up, so it was a little bit of a whipsaw, all right, here. And, sometimes you just can't avoid that stuff. You have to... That's why position sizing and being able to, exit positions is important. Evaluating trades for risk-reward ratio. So you don't want to risk $1 to make $1. You want to risk $1 to make like at least $3 is usually pretty good. And so you want to make sure you have a good risk-reward ratio on trades, knowing where you're going to stop out and take that $1 worth of loss. Even though you were trying to make those $3 worth of gains, you need to know when you're going to take your $1 worth of loss. So I teach that stuff in my course. Check it out if you guys are interested. But now we've broken this big choppy zone. I've got this It's almost like a isometrical triangle that's been building. We take out the lows here, right there. It's at about 102-ish. Then, we should go lower. And I would say we're going to go down to this level. This is big support. So that would be my target. My first target. It was about $74. And then we've got this thin zone. I was pointing this out a while back, but there's this thin zone right here with another level of good support at 58.80. If we enter into this zone, so let's say we break and we just start to work our way lower and hit this, we'll probably bounce here. Maybe we'll come back down and start to break. If we break, we should fall pretty quickly right down to 58, this 58.80 area. That would probably be my final target on this, at least for now. So those are levels to watch, but I'm not short this, but I am shorting a lot of these semiconductors, and I probably would be interested in shorting this if we can break right here, get some sort of a sell signal. All right. If you didn't take that, then the best sell signal came right there. All right, but moving on. And there was bullish divergence, though. We did have that recently, but we did get the big rally out of it as well. So, all right, Challenger, I already covered your GM, so I'm going to not cover your CLAC. Again, guys, just looking for one, maybe two picks, but I'm trying to, I got a lot to get through, so let's keep moving. Let me take a look at coin real quick. Yeah, I'm not. You have bullish divergence. You had a breakout here, so maybe bullish. It's probably going to come in for a back test like that, but it could rally. And then also NVIDIA. So NVIDIA looks like AMD, basically. So it pretty much the same kind of analysis. Big, nice uptrend line here. Not as well defined. AMD went all the way back to 2016. This is just going back to the COVID lows. Support through here. Broke. Big counter trend rally. This is what I'm viewing this as. Doesn't mean it is, but as of right now, I'm viewing it as a counter trend rally. Didn't fully backtest, so it could, we could run up and do a backtest. I'm keeping an eye on that because I am short this one. So I don't want to ride out the short all the way up there, but I'm expecting that we just ended the rally and we're heading lower. And looking at the hourly on this one, I've got some minor support here at 256.30, but I think we're heading lower, to be honest. So we'll give it a little room. Probably going to hit the 200. They'll probably try to battle it at the 200 again. They're always going to try to put a battle in at the 200, the bulls, just because the algos are programmed to do that and everything. So, watch for that. But all right, AAPN. I don't know what this one is. APPN. All right. Well, this thing's been in a bear market. There's your resistance. Guys, use log scaling. If you can't replicate my charts, make sure you're turning on log scaling. On TradingView, it's right down here in the bottom right corner. Okay, log scaling will give you the ability to chart over longer time frames. Because the linear scaling, it always goes parabolic over time, just with the fact that the dollar loses value and it takes more and more dollars into stocks. That's kind of why stocks over time go up, because they're priced in dollars and the dollar loses value over time. Log scaling, though, that's what you want to use. So this isn't super reliable down here, this trend line, because I only have like 2 data points basically, but just mark it out in case. So I've got this downtrend line to watch. In a downtrend, all right, number one, recognize that we're in a downtrend, and we do have bullish divergence. So that is merely the conditions that a breakout or reversal in trend is likely, but it's not guaranteed. So understand, in a downtrend with conditions starting to build for a breakout, but we don't have a buy signal. So the buy signal would come on a break, a bullish break above this downtrend line here. And until we see that, that's it. It's in a downtrend. So maybe it's going to do this and then break in the future. I don't know. So I would just wait on this one. And, I would be preparing to go long, but I would be waiting for the buy signal, and we don't have the buy signal. If you really like it, one way to do it is to buy it down here. Again, I don't like this trend line though, so let me just get rid of this. I would just wait for the breakout, to be honest. But that's what I would be looking for, is a bullish breakout. All right, but we don't have it yet. Moving on. Baidu. What is Baidu? BADU? I forget. Baidu. I don't remember what the symbol is for that one's. So I'm gonna have to move on. Throw up the symbol, guys. Tesla. I know it's a Chinese stock. I don't remember what the symbol is. All right, so I am short Tesla as well. Full disclosure. I shorted it right here at the as we moved into resistance. So right up in here. Now it hasn't really rejected yet. It's still they're still battling it out up here, but I'm looking for that rejection. It's probably going to come in the form of a gap down. So let me point out what we got going on the daily chart. Lots of tags on this trend line right here. So this is good support, or it was. And then we broke, big sell signal right here. Big counter trend rally right into major resistance. All right, so I short at major resistance. Okay, and excuse me. This one didn't really have the divergences. I think on the hourly it probably did. There it is on the hourly. So as we rallied up into the major resistance, we started to put in that negative divergence. That tells me that there's less and less momentum. All right, the momentum is fading up here. So anybody who's like holding it long is likely going to be a bag holder, but they don't have to be. But because the momentum is dropping off, so the smart money is getting out of this as we're rallying into this major resistance. Opportunity for an island cluster top. So there's your island right now. We've got this island. If we gap down, it's going to create it'll create the island on a gap down. So we'll probably gap down to about 122.70, and down she'll go like that. And that would be your island cluster reversal. Maybe that comes on Monday, but I like the setup for a short trade. It's got negative divergence right into major resistance, potential island reversal, top, everything that I would need to see to minimize my risk. So I'm looking for a lot lower prices on this, probably heading down to about 554. Moving on. Well, Newmont and other gold miners starting to show low momentum. Maybe. I don't know. Newmont, let me look. Newmont looks pretty strong on Friday, but let's see. So, I mean, I like this. Here's the thing. Look at the PPO. So we just made a new higher high in price on this recent move here. And the momentum, recently kind of spiked right here. Now, yeah, sure, on Friday it didn't make a new high, but that doesn't mean it can rest a little bit and then the RSI and PPO can move up. Look, I'm not sure what this line that I have here is. I don't know what this line is all the way up here. I mean, Newmont is making new all-time highs. So when the largest gold miner is starting to make new all-time highs, and I don't see enough on the daily chart to give me like a divergence or anything, so I have to treat it as if we're starting the next leg higher in this miner. And if this miner is doing that, it's very likely that the other miners are going to do that as well. So I like it. I'm long Newmont in one of my other accounts, not in my active trading account. I'm long Barrick Gold, and I've got this AEM in there and some HMY, some PAAS. I've got some MTA. I've got some BTG and some AU. Oh, and some ASM. I have a lot of these. I've kind of spread it around. All right, moving on. C Limited. What's the symbol? Is it? I don't know what the symbol is. I don't know. Have to move on. Are we? I am sure. I'm not sure at the futures, Thomas. I look at the futures, but I short triple Qs, and individual stocks. And I don't use options. I know a lot of people, if you're new to trading and they're like using Robinhood, they've got options on there, but I don't use options. I sell short. I sell stock short. So I borrow stock and return it to the person I borrowed it from at a lower price, and I take the profit. Essentially, that's what happens. It's all done through the broker, so it's kind of a seamless process. But if you're unaware of what selling stock short is, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Not until you get a little more familiar. Shorting is a lot more technical, so you need to be on point with your technicals. It can be very profitable. In fact, I think it's probably one of the most profitable things to do in the market, because stocks will sell down. When you get sell signals, they will sell down and you can get a lot of profit very quickly. But you have to know when to get out. You have to know when to cover. And hopefully you're following me and able to take some cues from what I'm saying. But if you don't know what selling short is, maybe you just want to watch for a little while. And options are a lot more difficult because you got the time element. So that's not for me. It's hard enough to pick the direction and manage those trades, manage your risk, kind of keep an eye on the market and everything, let alone the time factor. And nobody can tell the time. Nobody can say, oh, this is going to go down in 1 month. Rather than that, I'd rather just say this is likely to go down in the future. If I'm positioned that way, I will profit. All right, high probability I will profit. I don't need it to go down next month. I just need it to go down. All right, moving on. MOS. Is that Mosaic? Yeah. This is an agricultural company, I believe. Yeah. So longer term, I mean, it looks pretty bullish, but we've had this big move right here. So I'd probably want to start looking for at least a correction. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like that too much. Sorry, I'm just trying to find a key level. Maybe this, what I noticed is we've got some negative divergence now, right there on the RSI, and it's there on the PPO. We have a kind of an equal high, so that's a divergent high, and so maybe this trend line here, we got the break, but it didn't really. You don't really have a nice impulsive sell signal. You might want to just wait for that. If you're long, I'd probably stay long, but if you get that breakdown and an impulsive break, then that's probably going to give you a correction. Yeah, maybe down to, well, we got maybe a level here to watch, 53.18, and then potentially right there, 46.88. Likely, if you get that, this is going to sell down, but the 200 it's pointed up. So they might run in together, and that might be where it holds. Looks like a bull trend to me, longer term. Yeah. This was in a big, long bear market, and it's now in a bull market to me. looks like it started a new bull market. So I'd be looking to buy dips on this thing. Maybe short term you get a dip down to here, maybe not, you know, but I would be looking to buy dips. All right, moving on. Hey, acupuncture herb, thanks, appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat. Let me look at your stock pick. TBT. Okay, so this is a short. I did TLT already, so this is the inverse of TLT. So you could just use that. But potential trend line here, it's not my favorite, but we've got a couple reactions here. We've got some negative divergence on only on the RSI though, not on the PPO. So mixed signals on that one. There's some resistance right up here, so maybe we're gonna run up. Let me kind of mark that out, make sure we get it accurate. Right about there. Probably gonna head up to 2290. I don't see any real change that it's reversing trend, so I just go with this uptrend until you get up to resistance, and then maybe look for divergences and stuff. And HLT. I can't make a real clean trend line on this one. I see that we're just rocking the 200-day all the way up. Maybe you want to wait for a break of the 200. Looking at, but we do have negative divergence. See it right here? That doesn't tell me that the uptrend's going to end, but it does put the probability that it might. Looking at the hourly chart here, that could have been your uptrend right there that we just broke, and it's just like back test. Secondary trend right here. You know, sometimes I do this. I just go something like that and wait for something like that right there. You get a break of this, you're probably heading lower. And then what I would do is watch these gaps. You'll get little minor reactions on these gaps. There's a gap, 144.70. Probably down to the 200, and then a break of the 200 will set this on a course for a bear market. And here's some levels here. That looks like a good level to me. 98.50. So if you're gonna break if you're gonna, it's step by step. If you break this here, then maybe you fill here. That'll probably go maybe a little minor bounce. If the 200 goes, then I think we're probably heading down to this major trend line. Also, we probably have a reaction right there as well. Maybe I'll go right there. 116, 117. All right, those are levels to watch. Okay, moving back up. Guys, I did AMD already, so looks like AMD's starting a bear market, but there's a few things to watch. No, the last hour on a Friday doesn't concern me. But Monday morning is a lot more telling than Friday, the last hour. I'll look at one of those T, but I'm not going to do VZ, so I don't like it. The reason why is I don't like it long, and the reason why, look, you've got bullish momentum and bullish price action, but I don't see a divergent. I don't see any divergence, which would tell you a change in trend. So short term, we could rally up to the 200. I don't know. It's kind of choppy. Looks like a bear market to me. And I don't see any signs that that's changing. This might be stuck in a bear market for a while. And these things don't move a lot, so it could run up and just do this for a long time, then go lower. I don't know. It pays a dividend, though. So it's not going to fall as much as these growthy names. And it's already fallen quite a bit, so I don't know. It's not something I'm really interested in, but it could be just something you could hold for the dividend and it's a defensive play, so. Yep, semis got smashed, and that's why I'm short many of the semis. TSM has a very clean chart, so I like that one just because the chart's clean. There it is. There's your resistance, 107.88. Look, support all through here. Okay, and then we just recently made that high way up here. That was a divergent high. See the negative divergence? So that was telling me that, okay, this thing's weak or will be weak in the future. Came all the way down to the support, and I was pretty much looking for that breakdown. We got the break. All right, so zooming in, let me kind of zoom in here. And look at that little pop on that candle. That's your fake out move or your bull trap or stop raid, whatever you want to call it. But we broke, back test, pop above, 1 day, run everybody's stops. If they've got, if they're short, maybe you run their stops. If they're long, maybe some longs see that as a breakout, and then boom, 3 days of impulsive selling after that. So I'm looking for lower prices, looking for these levels down here. 76.71 is the next target that I really have. We got a little bit of support right in here at about 95.50. I think it'll give way though. I don't think it's going to hold too much. So I'm really looking for that one, 76.50. And potentially all the way down here at 60.75. Okay, I'm going to go about 15 more minutes and I'm going to wrap up. Oil. I'm looking for a short on oil, but I don't see it yet. This is oil futures, the one that I like to use. Well, look, we got I didn't actually look at this on Friday. We'll see. Not that impulsive of a breakdown, though. It did break down. It broke the trend line. Looking at the daily, there's the trend line that I have. It broke. It's not that impulsive. And that breakdown came with bullish divergence on the hourly right here. So we were grinding lower, but momentum's moving higher. So not the kind of breakdown I'm going to take. I'm not going to short that. I think we'll probably rally from here, and it'll be a little false breakdown. So maybe we got one more rally in oil, and then we break. I'm not looking to short it. I'm actually long some oil stocks in one of my other accounts, and that's an account I don't really trade. I just kind of invest in, but it's mostly foreign stocks. And guys, if you are interested, the foreign stocks, at least the ones that I'm in, I'm up almost 10% on the year in those, and then I'm and the U.S. market is down, so something's going on there. Yeah, socks for a short. Yep, I like it. I don't know if I like it. Excuse me, guys. I'm dealing with a little cold. I like it up here. This was the short. I like it shorting it right here in the resistance, but they did rally it up there against that trend line. This is the bearish rising wedge pattern. In general, though, this thing is going to be a lot more volatile, just the nature of semiconductors. They're volatile, but that's why I like shorting them when we got good sell signals, because they really can move. So I'm looking for more downside in the semis. Look at Qualcomm on Friday. Well, let me finish this. So SOX has a little bit of support right here, 434. I think it's going to break, though. If you get down there, you'll probably get 1 day bounce, maybe 2, and then you're going to probably break. I'm more looking for this area, 389-ish, as the next level of support. We've got a couple reactions right in there. So I'm looking for that. And that's as far as I'll go on that one for right now. But then you see things like Qualcomm on Friday, and they're smashing it down. Again, we rallied, held it for about a week or two above the 200. Everything looked great. Look at the impulsive nature of the selling too. Look, you rally up above the 200. You don't go anywhere, but you hold. So everybody's like, okay, we recovered. Little pop right here, like looking like it's gonna break. That's almost a doji as well. And then the selling, boom, big selling. All right, wiping out all that. So more downside. I would look for this level on Qualcomm. 123.24. Good support down there. Look, there's a resistance, support. All right. I would put very high probability that Qualcomm is heading down to that level. And we should get a good reaction there. You know, if I was shorting this, I'm not shorting this one right now. I've got some others, but if I was shorting this, I'd probably look to cover my short as we approach this level. And then it'll likely bounce, and I don't know where it'll go from there, but it looks like it's heading down there. And that's another, 16% down. I'll let you guys know if I cover my triple Qs. Right now I'm short triple Qs, and I'm short the small caps, IWM, and those are my two indice shorts, and then I've got some semiconductors I'm shorting. And someone asked me what will make me change my mind. Well, the chart will make me change my mind. If we get bullish divergence or some sort of bullish development, then I'll let you guys know what I see. But right now I don't see it, so I'll just go short. Yeah, banks do look kind of weak to me as well. Now they've been rallying on the Fed rate hike, or the Fed JPM. This is what I got on JPMorgan. So there's a trend line. You've got lots of reactions to justify it. This is COVID lows, support. There's another one. And, now it could rally and do a back test. We haven't had that yet. But in general, this to me looks like a downtrend. All right? Lower highs, lower lows. All right? It looks like it's downtrending. The high that it recently made way up here, you'll notice, was a divergent high. All right? Big bearish divergence has been building in this for a while. So this whole thing looks like a topping pattern to me. All right, big sideways topping pattern. So again, I'm looking at this. To me, looks like a bear market. Looks like we're starting a bear market. Here's the lows back in 2009. Lots of tags on this chart of support. And if you go to the weekly, this will give you the bigger picture stuff, but all the support, held support here, held support all through there. There's another tag, and then we're breaking. All right, we broke, resistance. Again, this is when the Fed was able to, recover the market. But look, so the Fed's, we broke again. Big sell signal, back test of resistance, and downtrending. So I'm looking for lower prices in JPM. You got some good support right here, so I would look at that. 119.50, we're probably heading down there in the near future. All right, guys, just one more, maybe two more, and then I'm going to wrap up. Nio, yeah, it's not that interesting to me, but it's probably already, it's maybe a rally in Nio, but we probably already had it. Because look how far Neo's sold off. Here's the highs down to the lows, 80%. I know people that own this thing, and they thought they were geniuses on the way up, and they're, it's coming down. And that's, it's just the nature of rallies. This was a speculative rally. Everything was rallying during this time. If you bought anything, it was going up. So, you have to recognize when that's changed. To me, this looks like a downtrend, clear downtrend. big, this might have been a capitulation right here where the sellers just flush out, and maybe we're going to go to a rally up to the 200. Mixed signals though. See, look, the RSI has bullish divergence on this little dip low, but the PPO didn't. It made a new low. So I don't like it, to be honest. It's at some resistance at 22.17. I don't know. It's too foggy for me to make a call on it. I think it's probably going to resume the downtrend, but I don't know. Not something I'd be interested in putting my money on right now. And one more. Guys, if you haven't dropped me a thumbs up, please do so. I do appreciate that. We've got about 100 people in here and 50. I'm going to do one more. So what do you guys want me to do for the last one? We're going to wrap up. Hopefully I've given you guys enough to give you at least a basic read for next week. I'm looking for more downside, but there's obviously the charts can change. So we'll have to, just take what we get as it comes. Semiconductors look weak in general. That's usually the leading edge of tech, and if those look weak, then typically, large cap tech will look weak. Let's look at the Fangs real quick. I didn't cover those. The one thing I'm looking for is I'd really like us to get back below the 200-day moving average on all these Fangs. So Amazon is below the 200-day, still above this big red line here. That's on the weekly chart. So that's your bull trend in Amazon, all right, on the weekly. And we're just above it. I think we're going to fail and break, but, we're above it right now, but below the 200. Google, closed the week above the 200, so I'd like to see this get, go lower. So this is the one thing that's kind of giving me pause, is the fact that these haven't broken back down below the 200 yet. Facebook well below the 200, so it doesn't really have a chance. Microsoft still above the 200 right here, so I'd like to see that break. And Apple well above the 200. Apple's the strongest stock in the, it's just been the strongest stock. Everybody's hiding out in Apple. So if this one moves, this is, you could almost just watch this one stock and it's going to tell you whether tech's going to sell off. But on Apple, we had this uptrend line here that I was watching. All right, towards the highs, we started to put in negative divergence. So I marked that out. We broke the trend and did one final back test, and that was, this is, to me, looks like the objective area to short this thing. So I'm thinking we're going lower. We might do this gap up on Monday right to here and then go lower. All right, so I'm looking for lower prices in Apple. We can do PANW just because I've been, talking about that. All right, so again, shorted this thing right here at resistance, and it's, you have this uptrend line on support right here. There's your uptrend line. I shorted it right here at resistance, looking for lower prices. On the hourly chart, negative divergence was building, so it just made sense to short it right there at resistance with that negative divergence. I would stop out if we broke above that. If we break out and close up here, I'd stop out. Otherwise, I'd look to trade this down to this trend line, and it's probably going to break this next time, I would assume. But one way you could trade it, if you shorted it up here, trade it down to the trend line, cover here, and then wait for the sell signal to re-short it. Otherwise, if you don't get the sell signal and it just continues on, well, there you go. But that's a trade idea. So short it down to here, cover, wait for the break, re-short it, and then we're in for probably a more trending trade down to some key levels. 420 is a level of support, so you'll probably get a reaction there. That's all I have, guys. I'm going to get going, so hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Thanks for following along. Check out my stock market technical analysis course. That is available for all. It's a tool that you can use to learn this skill set. And then drop me a thumbs up whenever you can. Thanks. Catch you guys on Monday. Bye.